Hello, what's up? The channel hit 10,000 subscribers. 10,000. Thank you so much to everyone for hanging out. It's getting a bit ridiculous now. 10,000 is a lot. To give you an idea, if you're all adorable little prawns, this is what 100 looks like, this is 1,000, and this is 10,000. I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't seen my 5,000 subscribers celebration video, last time we learned to conceptualize how large a number that is. Cool? Yeah. Lots. So many. That's too many, okay? It was too many to sew onto something, and now we have doubled that number. So if I was to sew 10,000 of something onto something else, that's probably going to be the only video I put out for 2025. So we're doing something different. In the vein of hot ones, the idea is 10,000 steps for 10,000 subscribers. Thomas and I go on a hike. He asks me questions that have been submitted by you lovely people. Rather than the challenge being increasing levels of spiciness, the challenge is my sedentary lifestyle. Unfortunately, it really didn't go well. This camera's so heavy, why didn't we bring a strap? My mic isn't on. My back hurts. Flies! Oh god, wait, what is that? Oh my god, there are bull ants everywhere. I have a stitch! What?
Bug.
Oh, it's really hard to talk and walk.
Ow.
Where are we? Oh, shooting in progress. So what do we do when things don't go our way? Welcome to my baking channel. Yeah, the lighting's gonna be so bad. It's incredibly weird today. We're having like rainy storms and then sun. So it's just gonna be up and down, up and down. We're just having a chill time, so we're not gonna worry about it, you know? I've had a couple of people ask me to share my cookie recipe and my giant cinnamon roll cake recipe that has featured in many of my videos. And a couple of people did suggest that I just bake a cake to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. And that is what we are doing. We tried. Okay, this is where we're at. I have my Christmas mug. It's too hot. Also, the humidity is at like 1,000% today, so my hair is just... So we're gonna get started prepping the dough for the cinnamon roll cake, because that one is a yeast leavened dough, and that one needs to rise for a bit, and then we will get started on the cookies. Here is our recipe. This is from peanut butter and jelly. Let's get into it. And the questions. I'm gonna try and do two things at once. It didn't work while I was hiking, why would it work now? Let's give it a go. Nancy asked, if I had a choice of moving to any country in the world, where would it be? I've never been to Scotland, but I just feel like that's where I am meant to be. It looks cold and drizzly, and it has old buildings and bookshops, and I just think I would have a great time there. The thing that I dislike about Australia is the UV rays and the heat. I don't handle it well. I wear sunscreen every single day. I've complained about this in many of my videos. I would love to go somewhere that kind of suits my heritage a little more. I've done my heritage and I am so Irish and English. Like if you look at the maps, just like circle upon circle. Man, it probably would have helped if I'd watched a baking show before I started this. Should get the recipe up. Where are my cup measurements? Half a teaspoon of salt. And the rain's starting up again. It was super sunny a second ago. Oh my god, could the rain calm down? So intense. Such a good day for filming. At least it's nice and cozy for baking. It's gonna be 37 degrees in like 3 days time. So I am enjoying the cold, rainy weather while it lasts. I'm not gonna do voiceover for these bits because there is enough of me talking in this video already. Please enjoy the vibes. Okay, I actually don't remember if the dough is meant to look this sticky or how long I'm meant to mix it for. It just says add the flour and mix until a dough forms, so let's cover it up. I'm gonna leave that to rise on top of the oven. I'm gonna start preheating the oven for cookies. Let's answer some more questions because I have to remember to actually do that. So Pegsicle asked if I was going to make a full-on cosplay of a Studio Ghibli character, who would it be? All right, first would be Totoro in like a full-on mascot kind of vibe. Like I just think that would be really fun. You know, you'd get to carve them out of foam with like what I assume is a chainsaw. Top tier, and I have no idea how you would do this, Cat Bus. Oh my gosh, never mind. This creator has already won Cat Bus cosplay. If money was no object, what business would you like to own? I would love to have a bookshop that also sells food. I feel like it's the most stereotypical answer, but yeah, a really cozy bookshop kind of cafe that also specifically has space for like community events and talks and like writers clubs. I might be describing almost a library, like it's almost describing a public library. So while the dough is rising, we can get started on the gluten-free peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. These are just from taste.com.au. These are the easiest and best cookies ever. 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of brown sugar. I put a little bit less in because I use unhealthy peanut butter. 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda, 1 egg, 1 cup of chocolate chips. Let's get started. I'm not cleaning this down in between, all right? It's just gonna be flour everywhere. It's very hard to get vegan chocolate chips that taste any good, but 70% dark chocolate is usually vegan. You have to check, especially if they've flavored it, it won't be vegan. So we're just gonna chop this up to put in our cookies. The bonus of doing it this way is you end up with lots of little crumbs and it kind of melts through the cookie. Rather than being like cookie and then chunks of chocolate, you get a really nice mix. I really love chocolate chip cookies. Just before I start chopping up the chocolate, the camera's very close to me. Go away. Don't know how to space these out properly. Who would be my dream collaboration? And I feel like that question is meant to be about a YouTuber. My dream collaboration would be Yoshi Kuroda, the original creator that inspired me to make my rabbit backpack. I would love to learn her ways. I don't know what I would bring to that collaboration, but I just want to learn more about how she does them because I have in my mind a gigantic, like 12-foot tentacled thing that's also a chair, right? Can you picture what I'm saying? With big floppy tentacles everywhere, and I could fill the whole thing with like textile waste. It'd be so heavy, you wouldn't be able to move it, and I rent, and it's a terrible idea, and I have nowhere to put it. It's a very vague idea, but I feel like she would know how to make it. So yeah, that would be my dream collaboration. Let's chop up chocolate. Oh, maybe the tentacled thing should have a goat head. That looks pretty good. I probably could have cleared the bench of my toaster and kettle, couldn't I? I'm not going to. So yeah, a bit less than a cup of brown sugar because it just doesn't really need it. Now this recipe does not call for vanilla bean paste, but I'm baking. What am I not gonna put vanilla in? That's insane. This looks so gross right now, don't look at it. Let's try and stir this up so you don't have to look at raw egg. I don't want to look at the raw egg. Ooh, that stirring sound. It can take a bit to get this mixture to come together into a dough, but it eventually does. The good news is I don't really think you can overmix this one because there's no gluten in it that's gonna develop and turn it into bread. That's peanut butter cookie dough. I'm gonna just like let this one chill for a bit and we'll continue chatting. I thought this was gonna be so easy. It's really weird just talking about myself for an extended period of time. I'm doing my best. Alexia from Mexico asked, how do you get the strength to keep going on a project even when it's not going how you envisioned it? The point right where you feel like giving up and you go, this was a huge mistake. Why did I even start this? Yeah, I think I hate it. You push through that and it turns around 180 and becomes really great. It happens most of the time. So I kind of just have faith that if I keep going with it, it will just be fine. It's that sentiment of done is better than good. And the great thing is that once you finish it, you can just start something else. Oh, okay, we also got a question about, I think a few people asked about Alfie. Thomas and I have been together for 5 years. Alfie is 12 and a half years old. Thomas has had Alf since he was a baby. I think this is a great opportunity to share with you the most adorable puppy photos ever. Look at that little face and his accordion body. Alfie was the runt of the litter and Thomas was supposed to be getting a different puppy, but when he went there to pick him up, he saw tiny Alfie sitting all by himself and he had to take him home. Alfie has some genetic conditions and he has spent a lot of time in hospital. He wasn't actually expected to live past 2, but they found a medication that works for him. He is healthy and happy and still snores like when he was a baby. The next question was, how did I get started in sewing and crafting? And did I have professional training? Oh, and how did I learn pattern making? We're trying to group similar questions. I don't know how to do this. This is my first time doing a Q&A and it feels really weird. I think the biggest influence into me getting into sewing has to be, we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. I have a cousin who is 1 year older than me. Every now and then I would get like a garbage bag, like a huge garbage bag of her clothes because she would do a closet purge, right? Nothing really fit me because we were different sizes. I kind of took the things I liked and remade them to fit me. In terms of professional training, I did textiles all throughout high school and I got a certificate 3 of clothing while I was in VCE, which is our last 2 years of school. Once I left high school, I enrolled in a diploma of fashion and something happened and I stopped enjoying it. Subjects that I enjoyed, I did great. Subjects I didn't enjoy, I failed. Thought I would finally fit in, and I didn't, and I was really unhappy, and I dropped out. Yeah, other than that, I think I did a short class on pattern making. So I would have covered a little bit of pattern making when I was at TAFE, and other than that, I kind of just look things up when I need them. Let's get these cookies in the oven. I need to get started on the dough. Set a timer for 12 minutes. I'm so excited to eat those. That has most definitely doubled in size. So we need to roll that one out. Oh, and we need to make the filling because we're going to spread the filling onto it. We're out of clean bowls. So for the filling for the cinnamon roll, we're just going to mix together brown sugar, Nuttall-X, buttery Nuttall-X for the vegans, and cinnamon. One of the questions was, how did I get started with my YouTube channel and like what led me to that point? All over the place. Super all over the place. I like made costume jewelry for a company for a while. I worked in a shoe shop. I did accounts payable and got my degree in business. So I worked in finance before this. I have been always trying to do something creative. The turning point was literally Thomas and I were in New Zealand. Travel always makes me rethink my whole life. So this was the question. And I think this is a super helpful question if anyone's trying to figure out what they should do with their life. You won some kind of a lottery and now you have a fantastic salary for the rest of your life. You do not need to work, you have money, and you have now traveled. So it's been a couple of years that you've been on this salary. Because I feel like the first answer is I'm gonna travel. Like if I don't have to go to work and I have a heap of money, what would I do every day? I would go travel. But let's assume you did that. And you've been traveling for like 2 or 3 years. And now it's like, well, what is your life gonna look like? And when I really thought about it, it's not doing the same thing every day. I would just basically every week pick whichever thing I felt like making, go research it, go get all the materials, make the thing, and then I would make another thing. And I was like, oh, well, there is a job that is that, and it's called being a YouTuber. So that's what I am attempting to do. I'm not even showing what I'm doing, I'm stirring the filling. It took me honestly about 2 or 3 years from the time that I realized I wanted to make YouTube videos to the time that I actually started, because I was so uncomfortable talking to a camera that I would practice on my phone. Like I would put it on while I was driving and just try talking to myself. And then eventually Thomas got me a camera for Christmas. And then I started making some practice videos while I was on like Christmas break. And those are the first videos that I uploaded. This video is gonna be super long if I take that long to answer all my questions. So let's do some quick ones and then let's roll out this dough. How did Tom and I meet? Tinder. Why am I making 3 recipes at once? It's very confusing. Oh, flour. We need flour. Oop, that's too much flour. Plop. Oh, there's still a heap in there. So we have to roll this out into like a rectangle that I think is meant to be about 1/4 inch thick. I forgot what that was for. It's cookies. Oh, they're done. Oh dear, they're very done. Oops. This is going great. Ah, oh, hot. Oh yeah, because I preheated the oven to the wrong temperature. That's what that's about. Whoops. These were done at like 200, but they need to be 180. I think they're gonna be fine though, because they always stay really soft. All right, good. So we want a rectangle about 1/4 inch thick, and it should still be able to come off of the bench. I didn't prep the cake tin. Oh my God. I forgot to put my apron back on. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea. No, you know what? I do know why. I have this brain thing where I need to do things in the most efficient way possible, which results in me doing stuff like this, where I'm like, I'll cook 3 recipes like simultaneously and that'll be totally fine. This is not being very well structured. I kind of thought that I would do it like, here's how to make these cookies, here's how to make these cookies, and here's how to make this cake. And that's not what I've done. I have just been me, and we've done everything at the same time. Trying my best. Everything is a mess. Not bad. Teensy bit burned. Oh. No, I'm not stress eating a cookie. I'm fine. Okay, we have our prepared cake tin. We have our dough rolled out. We have our topping. So we're just going to spread that one on this one, slice this one up, roll it up, put it in there. And then we will leave it to rise for, I think, another hour. Okay, now this is where things get a little bit hectic, because I don't make this the way that the recipe says to. I tried their method, it didn't work for me. We're doing my method, it's very time-based. We slice this up. They normally roll it up individually, each layer into the cake tin, and it just didn't work when I tried that, so this is my method. So I'm gonna cover this with a damp towel again and leave that to rise for about another hour, I think. Okay, I checked the recipe. We're only supposed to leave that one to rise for another 30 minutes. So in that time, we can probably prep Tom's chocolate chip cookies. His ones are a vegan recipe by Chocolate Covered Katie. This one here. this is what you will need. I will say you do want to put a little bit of extra sugar in. I want to put a little bit of extra sugar in. I don't know if you do. 1 cup of plain flour. A little bit more. Let it overflow a bit. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Mix these ones together. So I think that's all like basically incorporated. Try and get the lumps out of the brown sugar as much as possible. 2. I wanted you to see what the cookies are actually meant to look like. So I put another couple in so that you'll see they're not supposed to be burnt. There we go. That's what they're meant to look like. Not like this. Not Alex? God, this is so unaesthetic. So, while I stir this one up, Leah, Becca, Jacob, Astrid, Wendy, and heaps of others want to know, how do you motivate yourself? How do you push through hyperfixation or decision paralysis? How much do you prepare before a project, and how do you keep focus when there are so many distractions? Like most people with ADHD, I don't get dopamine from finishing a project. I get it from starting them. I need to finish things in order to make the next thing. The biggest thing has been, in terms of finishing stuff and staying motivated, is making this channel. It just really helps me. It just works for my brain. Oh, on this cookie dough. If you make this and you're mixing it together and you're like, that needs more liquid, it don't. What it needs is for you to mix it with your hands. I don't know why, but that's how this one works. What was the other part of the question? How do you push through hyperfixation or decision paralysis? I struggle with decision paralysis a lot. Deadlines is the only thing that helps me. So hyperfixation helps me because that's how I finish projects. I get hyperfixated on things that I enjoy, and I enjoy making my projects. That works really well. My biggest challenge is the first couple of days of editing. I spend a lot of time picking my phone up and then throwing it away from me. But then in the last couple of days of editing, because it takes me about 5 or 6 days to edit a video, oh boy, do I forget to go to the bathroom or eat or get up from my chair and realize I've been at the computer for 12 hours straight. I think I prepare a lot. I definitely think a lot before my projects, but then it'll get to it and I'll be like, wow, I'm not prepared for this at all. So I don't know, I go into some of my projects with no preparation. Sometimes I decide the day before that that's what I'm making. And other times there are like weeks or months or even a year, like the Taylor Swift one. And even then I get to it and go, oh, that's not what I was thinking. Does that answer the question? I don't think that did. So we now have cookie dough. Aha. So this one can go in the fridge to be chilled for some reason, because you're supposed to do that with cookie dough. I don't get it. Probably nearly time to put our cinnamon roll cake in the oven. This is so disjointed. I think this should have risen more. I may have wrapped it too tightly. So this is probably gonna be one of those things where like nothing's gonna go correctly. I have a feeling I didn't put any salt in Tom's cookies either. Anyway, let's put this in the oven for 35 minutes at about 180 degrees and answer some more questions, I guess. Oh, someone asked, can I solve a Rubik's Cube? No. What's the best color? Black. If you could be any animal, what animal would you like to be? Congrats on 10K. Thank you. Probably like a crow or something, or a bird that can fly really high and big distances like a wedge-tailed eagle. Do I have any other craft interests I would want to try? So many. Oh my God. So yeah, in the last couple of days I've gotten into knitting. I'm having the best time. Recently, I am obsessed with the idea of making a quilt. I saw someone's board on Pinterest and I saw really modern, interesting quilts. And I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I've reached that point in my life. I want to make quilts. I want to make a big, massive embroidered like wall hanging, like a tapestry. And also recently kind of got the idea of getting into bookbinding, but yeah, definitely focused in on like fiber art at the moment, I think. Oh, and I also just got into pens. It's not exactly a craft, but I'm getting very into fountain pens and yeah, books in general. Can you do a fawn look? I'd love to. Absolutely. I love stuff with goats. Maybe not. I actually have a plan for a video that involves a goat costume. So how have you dealt with having so many eyes on you and your work? Has that been scary? I think that the way that I am comfortable sharing what I make with so many people, with a potentially unlimited amount of people, is because I saw people like Rachel Maxey doing it and putting out stuff that wasn't perfect, that she would make things, put it out and say, like good enough. And I think it's just the understanding that unfortunately, if you are going to be a person on the internet, people are going to be mean. And that's kind of just how it is. Honestly, if someone said something mean to me like they might in a comment on the street, I'd be like, wow, what a weirdo. Like, what is their problem? You know, I wouldn't take it so personally. I'm comfortable sharing my work because I hope that other people, when they see it being not perfect, that it might make them want to have a go, because I love seeing people try something. I love hearing about people's failures because it makes me feel better about my own. How to Fail was an excellent book, actually. That's a random book recommendation, but How to Fail is really helpful, and so is Big Magic. Those are my book recommendations. If this is something that you struggle with about being seen, and you have as much right to be here as anyone else. So go make your thing. Once you put it out into the world, it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't belong to you anymore. Like that's the way art works, right? When someone creates art and someone makes a book, makes a film, it's no longer theirs once it goes out into the world and it becomes someone else's experience and you can't control how they feel about it. And all you can do is keep making your thing because you enjoy it. So that's it. I can't remember what the start of that question was. Ooh, Batworks asked, what is your favorite pre-YouTube project you ever made? Ooh, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is my year 12 art final, okay? It was 3 pieces, you had to make 3 things. My theme was fear. So I made a clown using a child as a marionette puppet. I did some paintings, which are horrible and I would not put up in my house. This piece, which I have never had a reason to share this, but I always think this is kind of interesting. Kind of got this idea that maybe technology in the future would take care of everything and you wouldn't need to see what was around you because you might have glasses that were augmenting reality. And then maybe in the future, the air wasn't that good, so it would breathe for you and feed you. And so I made this headpiece thing that kind of represented our future isolation that would happen as technology got better. So this was in 2008 that I made this. I called it Alone 2020. What happened in 2020? This is the closest I have come to witchcraft. I am very proud of this. So this is probably my favorite thing I have made before I started YouTube. Oh, Pam, what was your favorite video to film? Okay, that's a super easy one. I'll do one more. Okay, one more question. I'm just gonna say the first thing I think of is a rabbit backpack. Oh, and the finger project, actually. The weird ones, I think, are my favorite. I don't know, I think for both of those, that is just the most I have laughed while in a room alone. So I think that's a good sign. Okay, that looks pretty good, but it's real bad if this cake is undercooked. And it is. I know, it's just been me answering questions. It's such a boring format and I apologize. Emily, fellow Melburnian ADHDer, asked, what are the weirdest, most fun / most concerning hyperfixations you've ever had? It's real easy. I read The Indifferent Stars Above and just went on a whole track of reading books about cannibalism. I think I'm gonna call it there. Huh? Time for cookies. Now that the cake is done baking, we need to make the glaze and we need to put it on pretty much now. It should go on while it's still hot. Okay, so for this one, I don't follow the recipe. I just kind of mix something together. I think I melt some Nuttelex, icing sugar, vanilla, and a tiny bit of milk. Don't have measurements for this one, sorry, I just guessed. So I'm just gonna microwave that. I hope that bowl is microwavable. Vanilla, good amount of vanilla. And just a little bit of milk. Just didn't even say that word, I just made a noise. Just a little bit of milk, I guess, enough to turn this into like a glaze. And then we just kind of mix it together. I think this is how I do it. Forgot to put a timer on for Tom's cookies. Now look, I know that I didn't give you like quantities for making this glaze. You just kind of eyeball it, right? It's an amount of vanilla, a splash of milk, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a cup of icing sugar, maybe less than a tablespoon of butter. This is phenomenal. Like it is so much better than it has any right to be. Let's cover the cake. All right, let's see if I can do this in slow motion. Oh, there, oh, I touched it. So this cake is best eaten straight away, but that rarely happens because it's a whole bunch of prep to make it. My recommendation is cut off a slice, microwave it for 30 seconds, have it with some coffee. So good. They're so close. They just haven't cracked on top, which is weird. I think the temperature of the oven was too low this time. So there you have it. The cake I'm going to take to Christmas, so hopefully people like it. The cookies, I'm starting them now. I started partway through filming. These are really good. Let me know if you try any of these recipes. Other than that, I didn't really think about how to end this. Thank you so much for 10K. Thank you for hanging out. It was super weird to talk about myself this much. Probably won't do this again for a while. I appreciate you being here. I am so excited for next year. I have something big planned for my next video and I will see you there. Bye.